Dae-hyun Kim stood at the big window of the space station looking out at the dark space filled with stars. He was the commander of Earth Defense Station Alpha, and today would be the most important day of his life. 300 alien ships were coming toward Earth, and they looked huge and dangerous. The alien ships belonged to something called the Galactic Empire. These aliens had been traveling across the galaxy for many years. They went from planet to planet and took over every world. They found no one had ever stopped them before. They were known as the most powerful military force in the entire galaxy. So Young Park was sitting at her computer station nearby. She was the best communication officer on the space station. Her job was to talk to other ships and receive messages from faraway places. Today, she received a message that made her hands shake with worry. It was from the alien fleet commander. The message was simple, but scary. It said that Earth had to surrender right away, or the aliens would destroy everything on the planet. They would kill all the humans and take over the world just like they had done to hundreds of other planets. The message gave Earth exactly 1 hour to decide. Dae-hyun read the alien message and felt calm instead of scared. He had been preparing for this day for many years. Earth had secret weapons and defenses that the aliens did not know about. The humans had been watching alien movements across the galaxy and learning about their fighting methods. He walked over to the main communication system and pressed the button to send a message back to the alien fleet. His voice was steady and strong when he spoke into the microphone. He told the aliens that they had entered human space without permission, and they should turn around and go away immediately. The human commander explained that Earth did not want to fight a war, but they would defend themselves if they had to. He warned the aliens that attacking Earth would be a big mistake. The humans were not weak like the other species the aliens had conquered before. Min-ho Lee was watching the radar screens that showed where all the alien ships were located. He could see that the enemy fleet was very big and had powerful weapons. The ships were arranged in perfect battle formation like they had done this many times before. Hye-jin Choi was monitoring the alien weapon systems from her computer. Her screen showed that the enemy ships had enough firepower to destroy entire cities. She reported to Commander Kim that the aliens were getting ready to attack Earth very soon. On the biggest alien ship, the fleet commander named Thex received the human message and started laughing. He was a tall reptile creature with sharp teeth and angry red eyes. He had conquered over 50 planets during his military career and never lost a single battle. Thex thought humans looked very weak and small compared to his strong Valak warriors. The human ships seemed tiny and primitive next to the advanced Valak technology. How could such pathetic creatures dare to threaten the mighty Valak Empire? It was almost too funny to believe. The alien commander looked at his tactical officers and told them to ignore the human warning completely. The Valak fleet would continue moving toward Earth and begin the attack as planned. These humans would learn what happened to species that refused to surrender to the Empire. Back on the Earth Defense Station, Lieutenant Woo Jin-han was listening to alien radio communications. He had studied their language for many years and could understand what they were saying. The aliens were talking about how easy this conquest would be. The alien fleet kept moving closer to Earth without slowing down at all. They had completely ignored the peaceful warning that Commander Kim had sent them. This meant that Earth would have to use its secret weapons to defend itself. Dr. Yoonji Nam was working in the underground command center on Earth. She was the smartest scientist on the planet and had spent 20 years developing new defense technologies. Her computer screens showed that all the hidden weapon systems were ready to activate. Admiral Jin-woo Song was in charge of all Earth military forces. He had been planning for this invasion ever since the first alien ships were spotted at the edge of the solar system. The humans had prepared many surprises for the overconfident aliens. The Valak fleet commander sent another message to Earth demanding immediate surrender. He said that the humans had 30 minutes left to give up or face complete destruction. His voice sounded cruel and confident, like he had never lost a battle in his life. So Young Park received the second alien message and felt, her heart beating very fast. She looked at Commander Kim and saw that he was still completely calm. He had expected the aliens to ignore the human warning, because that was what bullies always did. Dae-hyun activated the emergency alert system that would warn all human military units that the battle was about to begin. Red lights started flashing throughout the space station, and alarm sounds filled the air. Every person on the station knew what those signals meant. The alien ships were now close enough to see Earth as a blue and white ball hanging in space. Thex ordered his weapons officers to target the biggest human cities for the first attack. He wanted to kill as many humans as possible right away to make the others surrender. Quickly, Captain Bo Ram Yoon was hiding with her fleet of 25 stealth ships behind the moon. Her vessels were invisible to alien sensors because of advanced human cloaking technology. The aliens had no idea that Earth had such powerful ships, waiting to attack them. The human stealth ships had been built using secrets learned from crashed alien vessels that Earth scientists had studied for decades. They were faster and more maneuverable than anything the Galactic Empire had ever seen in battle before. Commander Kim looked at his crew one last time before the fighting started. These brave men and women had trained their whole lives for this moment. They all knew that the future of humanity depended on what happened in the next few hours. The alien fleet reached the outer edge of Earth's atmosphere and began forming attack patterns. Thex was already thinking about which planet his fleet would conquer next after they finished destroying the humans. He never imagined that Earth might actually fight back successfully. Lieutenant Min Ho reported that alien weapons were powering up and getting ready to fire at Earth. The enemy ships were positioning themselves to attack major cities like New York, Tokyo, and London, where millions of people lived and worked. Hai Jin announced that all Earth defense systems were online and ready to activate. The humans had built secret weapons that the aliens could never imagine. Earth was about to show the Galactic Empire that some planets were too dangerous to attack. The peaceful warning had been given and ignored. Now the aliens would learn that humanity was not like the other weak species they had conquered so easily before. The real battle was about to begin, and nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same again. The Galactic fleet moved deeper into the solar system like hungry wolves approaching their prey. Commander Thex watched through his ship windows as they passed the gas giant Jupiter with its swirling storms and many moons. The journey toward Earth was going exactly as planned. The alien ships sailed past Mars, the red planet, without any problems at all. Thex had conquered so many worlds that this felt like just another easy day at work. These humans were probably hiding in underground bunkers, on Earth trembling with fear like all the other species before them. 300 massive alien warships continued their steady approach toward the blue planet Earth. Their weapons were charged and ready to begin the orbital bombardment that would turn human cities into smoking ruins. The Galactic Empire had never failed to conquer a planet once they decided to attack it on Earth deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. Admiral Jin Woo Song sat in the most secret military command center ever built. The EAD room was filled with hundreds of computer screens and control panels that monitored every part of the solar system. 24 hours a day, human technicians watched for any signs of alien activity. The underground facility had been built over 30 years ago when Earth first detected alien radio signals from across the galaxy. Human leaders realized that eventually hostile aliens would find Earth and try to conquer it. So they began preparing for the inevitable invasion. Dr. Yoonji Nam walked between the rows of computer workstations, checking that all systems were functioning perfectly. She had spent most of her adult life designing the secret weapons that would defend Earth from alien attack. Her inventions were about to be tested in real combat for the first time. The human scientist had studied the wreckage of alien ships that had crashed on Earth decades earlier. She learned how their technology worked and then built even better versions. The aliens thought they had superior weapons, but they were wrong about that. Lieutenant Boram. Yoon was floating in space behind the moon, commanding the hidden human fleet that the aliens could not see. Her 25 stealth ships were completely invisible to enemy sensors thanks to advanced cloaking technology that humans had developed in secret. The human stealth ships looked nothing like the primitive vessels that Earth used for normal space travel. These were sleek, deadly machines built for one purpose only: to destroy alien invaders who threatened humanity. The crews had trained for years to pilot these advanced warships. Back on Defense Station Alpha, Commander Dae-hyun Kim received reports from monitoring stations throughout the solar system. Every human outpost was ready for battle. Weapons platforms hidden among the asteroids were powered up and waiting for orders to fire. So Young Park listened to alien radio communications and translated what the enemies were saying to each other. The Valak commanders were discussing how they would divide up Earth among themselves after the conquest. They talked about humans like they were farm animals to be enslaved. The aliens had no idea that humans could understand their language. Earth scientists had been intercepting alien messages for many years and had learned to decode their military communications. This knowledge would give humanity a huge advantage in the coming battle. Min-ho Lee tracked the movement of every alien ship on his radar screens. The enemy fleet was maintaining perfect formation as they approached Earth. Their discipline was impressive, but it also made them predictable. Human commanders knew exactly what the aliens would do next. Vex stood on the command bridge of his flagship, feeling very pleased with how smoothly the invasion was proceeding. His reptilian features showed the confidence of a commander who had never experienced defeat. The humans would surrender quickly once they saw Valak firepower. The alien commander ordered his communications officer to send another message to Earth, demanding immediate surrender. He expected the humans to beg for mercy and offer to become slaves of the Valak Empire. That was what every other species had done when faced with superior alien technology. Hae-jin Choi monitored the alien message from her station on Defense Station Alpha. She could see that the enemy commander was extremely arrogant and believed humans were weak and helpless. This overconfidence would be the aliens' biggest mistake. Deep in the command center, Admiral Song received the latest intelligence reports from human spy satellites positioned throughout the solar system. The aliens were following standard Valak invasion procedures exactly as Earth military planners had predicted they would. The human admiral had studied recordings of alien battles on other worlds. He knew that the Valak always used the same attack patterns because their previous easy victories had made them lazy and overconfident. They never adapted their tactics because they never needed to. Captain Wu Jin Han commanded one of the hidden weapons platforms disguised as an asteroid near Jupiter. His installation contained enough firepower to destroy several alien ships, but the enemies had no idea it existed. The humans had been very clever about hiding their defenses. Earth had turned the entire solar system into a massive trap designed specifically to destroy Valak invasion fleets. Weapons platforms were hidden everywhere from Mercury to Pluto, waiting for the signal to reveal themselves and attack the overconfident aliens. The alien fleet continued moving toward Earth, while their sensors showed nothing unusual about the solar system. It appeared to contain only one inhabited planet defended by primitive human technology. The Valak had no idea they were flying into the most sophisticated military trap ever created. Dr. Nam activated long-range communication arrays that connected with human colonies and allied worlds throughout the galaxy. The aliens thought Earth was alone and defenseless, but they were completely wrong about that. Humanity had powerful friends across many star systems. The secret truth was that humans had been building alliances with other species for hundreds of years. Many alien races had suffered under Valak tyranny and were eager to fight back against the Empire. Earth served as the hidden headquarters for a massive resistance movement. Thex received a message from Valak High Command ordering him to complete the conquest of Earth as quickly as possible. The Empire needed his fleet to move on to other targets. The alien commander promised that the human homeworld would fall within hours. The Valak fleet reached the outer edge of Earth atmosphere and began spreading out into attack formation. Their massive ships blocked out the stars as they positioned themselves above major human cities. The aliens were ready to begin orbital bombardment. Lieutenant Park tried one more time to contact the alien fleet commander. She sent a message explaining that Earth was protected by powerful defenses and the aliens should retreat before it was too late. But the warning was ignored just like all the others. Had been Commander Kim looked at the tactical display showing alien ship positions around Earth. The enemies had placed themselves exactly where human military planners had hoped they would. The trap was set and ready to spring. Admiral Song gave the order to activate Phase 1 of Earth Defense Protocol. Hidden sensors throughout the solar system came online and began targeting every alien ship. Weapons platforms started powering up their energy cannons and missile launchers. Captain Yoon received the signal to prepare her stealth fleet for attack. Her ships moved into position behind the alien formation while remaining completely invisible. The humans were about to show the Valak Empire that some prey could bite back very hard. Aliens had ignored every warning and walked straight into humanity's most sophisticated military trap. Now they would learn that conquering Earth would not be as easy as they expected. The real battle was about to begin, and the hunters were about to become the hunted. The massive Valak fleet hung in space above Earth like dark storm clouds ready to unleash destruction. Commander Thex felt the familiar excitement that came before conquering another helpless world. His 300 ships carried enough firepower to turn the entire human planet into a burning wasteland. The alien commander opened communication channels to make his final demand for surrender. He expected to hear desperate human voices begging for mercy and offering to become slaves of the Valak Empire. That was how every other species had responded when faced with certain doom. Instead, Commander Dae-hyun Kim's voice came through the speakers, calm and steady, as if he was discussing the weather. The human officer spoke with quiet confidence. That surprised the reptilian alien. His words carried no fear or desperation at all. Kim explained that the aliens had been given a fair warning to leave Earth space peacefully, but they had chosen to ignore that offer. Now they would face the consequences of their decision. The humans would defend their homeworld with every weapon at their disposal. Thex burst into cruel laughter at the human commander's words. These pathetic creatures actually believed they could fight against the mighty Valak war machine. It was the most ridiculous thing he had ever heard in his long military career. The alien commander looked at his weapons officers and gave the order to begin orbital bombardment of Earth major cities. He wanted to kill millions of humans in the first attack to break their spirit and force immediate surrender. Massive energy beams shot down from the Valak ships toward targets like New York, London, Tokyo, and Moscow. The aliens expected to see huge explosions and burning cities that would prove their overwhelming superiority over primitive human technology. The first shock came when the alien weapons struck Earth's surface. Instead of causing massive destruction, the energy beams hit invisible force fields that scattered the attacks. Harmlessly into space, bright flashes of light lit up the atmosphere, but no damage occurred to the cities below. Thex stared at his tactical screens in confusion and growing concern. His officers reported that their most powerful weapons had been completely neutralized by some kind of defensive shield technology. No other species had ever possessed defenses capable of stopping Valak energy cannons. The alien commander ordered his fleet to increase weapon power and concentrate all fire on the human capital cities. Surely these mysterious defensive systems would fail under sustained attack from 300 warships firing at maximum intensity. Dr. Yunji Nam monitored the alien assault from her position in the underground command center beneath the Pacific Ocean. Her defensive shield technology was working exactly as designed. The alien weapons were actually making Earth defenses stronger by providing more energy to absorb. The human scientist had spent 20 years perfecting shield generators that could turn enemy attacks into power for defensive systems. Every shot the aliens fired at Earth was being converted into energy that charged human weapons and strengthened the protective barriers So Young Park transmitted. Another message from Defense Station Alpha to the alien fleet. She explained that Earth still did not want to destroy the Valak ships, but the humans would defend themselves if the attacks continued. The second major shock came from Captain Boram, Yoon hidden fleet positioned behind the moon. 25 human stealth ships suddenly appeared on Valak sensors moving at incredible speed toward the rear of the alien formation. The human vessels seemed to materialize out of empty space, like ghosts, becoming solid. Their advanced cloaking technology had kept them completely invisible until the moment they decided to attack. The aliens had no idea such ships even existed. Human weapons based on captured alien technology, but improved with Earth. Engineering struck the enemy vessels with devastating accuracy. The stealth ships fired missiles and energy beams that found their targets with precision that amazed even veteran Valak commanders. 3 alien warships exploded in brilliant flashes of light that could be seen from Earth's surface. The massive vessels that had seemed so invincible just moments before became clouds of burning debris floating in space. The perfect Valak battle formation began to break apart as commanders struggled. To understand how primitive humans had managed to ambush them so effectively, panic spread through the alien fleet as more ships reported damage from the surprise attack. Admiral Jinwoo Song watched the battle unfold from his command center deep beneath Earth oceans. The human attack was proceeding exactly according to plan. Phase 1 had been a complete success, and now it was time to activate Phase 2 of the Defense Protocol. Lieutenant Min-Ho Lee coordinated the human counterattack with precision that surprised even the experienced Valak military officers. Earth defenders had studied alien tactics for decades and knew exactly how to exploit weaknesses in enemy formations. Captain Yoon's stealth fleet continued to strike at the alien rear guard using hit-and-run tactics that prevented the Valak ships from organizing an effective response. Human pilots flew with skill and courage that reminded older aliens of legendary warriors from their own ancient history. Yejin Choi reported that Earth defensive shields were holding strong against continued alien bombardment. The systems were actually getting more powerful as they absorbed energy from enemy weapons. Every attack made humanity response stronger and more devastating. Thex realized with growing horror that his supposedly invincible fleet was taking serious casualties while failing to cause any significant damage to Earth defenses. The humans had turned their entire solar system into a weapon designed to destroy. Valak invasion forces. The alien commander tried to contact his ships and reorganize them into a defensive formation, but human jamming technology was interfering with Valak communications. Many of his vessels were operating independently without coordination from Fleet Command. More alien ships exploded under accurate human fire as Captain Yoon forces continued their relentless attacks. The stealth vessels seemed to be everywhere at once, striking from different directions and disappearing before the aliens could return fire effectively. Wu Jinhan activated additional human weapons platforms hidden throughout the asteroid belt. Installations disguised as space rocks suddenly revealed themselves and began firing missiles at the confused alien fleet. The humans had prepared surprises everywhere. The Valak officers who had been so confident just minutes before now found themselves fighting for their lives against an enemy they had completely underestimated. The primitive humans possessed technology and tactics far superior to anything the Empire had encountered. Commander Kim voice filled the alien communication channels again, offering them one more chance to surrender and avoid further casualties. His tone remained calm and professional. Even as human weapons destroyed more enemy vessels, Thex felt something he had never experienced before in his military career. Genuine fear that his fleet might actually lose this battle. The humans were not behaving like any other species, the Valak. Empire had conquered. They fought with determination and skill that shocked the alien commander. The reptilian warrior who had laughed at human warnings just hours earlier now watched his proud fleet being systematically destroyed by the very creatures he had dismissed as weak and helpless. Earth defense was turning into the worst military disaster in Valak history. For the first time in decades, someone was fighting back against the Valak Empire and winning. The humans had given a peaceful warning. That was ignored, and now the aliens were paying the price for their arrogance and overconfidence. The battle was far from over, but already it was clear that this would not be another easy conquest for the supposedly invincible Valak war machine. Humanity had revealed itself as a force to be reckoned with in the galaxy. Commander Thex stared in complete shock at the tactical display showing the current battle situation. 3 of his most powerful warships had been completely destroyed, and 7 more were badly damaged with hull breaches and failing systems. How had these supposedly primitive humans managed to hurt his fleet so severely? The reptilian commander had conquered over 50 worlds during his long military career and had never suffered losses like this in the opening minutes of any battle. The Valak Empire was famous throughout the galaxy for their quick and decisive victories against helpless alien species. Admiral Jin Woo Song sat in his underground command center watching the battle progress exactly as human military planners had predicted. The aliens were following standard Valak attack procedures, which meant Earth defenders knew what the enemy would try to do next. The human admiral activated Earth's second line of defense systems that had been hidden throughout the solar system for decades. Weapons platforms that looked like asteroids or space debris suddenly came online and revealed their true deadly purpose. Saturn rings contained dozens of camouflaged missile launchers that had been built inside captured space. Rocks. The installations had been positioned there 20 years earlier when humans first detected alien signals from deep space. Jupiter massive moons hid powerful energy cannons capable of destroying entire alien battleships with single shots. The weapons had been carved into the solid rock and covered with fake surface materials to avoid detection by enemy sensors. The Valak fleet suddenly found itself caught in a carefully planned crossfire as human weapons struck from every direction. Missile swarms launched from Saturn, while energy beams fired from Jupiter created a deadly web of destruction around the confused alien ships. Commander Dae-hyun Kim. Voice filled the alien communication channels, explaining that they had been warned to leave peacefully but chose to ignore that offer. Every ship they lost from this point forward was the result of their own arrogance and aggressive behavior. Lieutenant Min-ho Lee coordinated the human attack from Defense Station Alpha, directing friendly forces with precision that amazed even the experienced Valak military commanders. Earth defenders moved like they had been practicing this battle for years. The human officer had indeed been training for this exact scenario since he joined the military 15 years earlier. Every human commander had studied recordings of Valak battles and learned exactly how to counter alien tactics and formations. Captain Bo-Ram Yoon's stealth fleet continued to strike at the enemy rear guard using hit-and-run tactics that prevented the Valak ships from organizing any kind of effective counterattack. Her vessels appeared fired and disappeared like deadly ghosts. The human stealth ships were faster and more maneuverable than anything in the Valak fleet. They had been built using reverse-engineered alien technology combined with advanced human engineering that improved on the original designs. Dr. Yoon-ji Nam reported from the command center that Earth defensive shields were not only holding strong against continued alien bombardment, but were actually getting more powerful. The systems absorbed energy from enemy weapons and converted it into power for human counterattacks. Every shot the aliens fired at Earth made humanity response. stronger and more devastating. The humans had learned from studying other conquered worlds that the key to defeating the Valak was turning their own strength against them. Thex tried desperately to regroup his scattered fleet, but human jamming technology was interfering with Valak communications. Many of his ships were operating independently without coordination, which made them easy targets for Earth defenders. The alien commander realized with growing horror that his fleet was trapped in a carefully designed killing field. The humans had turned their entire solar system into a massive weapons platform specifically designed to destroy Valak invasion forces. These supposedly primitive creatures had been preparing for war while pretending to be peaceful and defenseless. They had spent decades studying alien technology and developing superior weapons and defensive systems. Lieutenant Hye-Jin Choi monitored alien communications and reported that panic was spreading through the enemy fleet. Valak officers who had never experienced defeat were struggling to adapt to their first real battle against determined resistance. Captain Woo Jin Han activated more hidden weapons platforms throughout the asteroid belt, revealing that Earth defenses were far more extensive than the aliens had ever imagined. Humanity had prepared for this invasion with incredible thoroughness. The human weapons platforms opened fire with devastating effect, adding to the crossfire that was systematically destroying. The Valak fleet ship after ship exploded in brilliant flashes as accurate human fire found critical targets. So Young Park transmitted regular updates to allied worlds throughout the galaxy, explaining that the human defense of Earth was succeeding. Beyond all expectations, the news would spread hope to oppressed species across many star systems. Thex watched another of his heavy cruisers explode under concentrated human fire and felt something he had never experienced before in his military career. The possibility that his supposedly invincible fleet might actually be defeated. The Valak Empire had built its reputation on easy victories against species that were too weak or too frightened to fight back effectively. But humans were proving to be completely different from any enemy the aliens had encountered. Commander Kim offered the aliens another chance to surrender and avoid further unnecessary casualties. His voice remained calm and professional, even as human weapons continued to destroy enemy vessels with methodical precision. The human commander explained that Earth had no desire to completely annihilate the Valak fleet, but would continue defending their home world with every weapon available. The choice between surrender and destruction belonged to the alien invaders. More Valak ships took critical damage as human attacks continued from multiple directions. The aliens found themselves fighting a three-dimensional battle where enemies could appear anywhere without. Warning Admiral Song authorized the activation of additional defensive systems that had been held in reserve Earth military doctrine, called for revealing capabilities gradually to keep enemies guessing about what other surprises might be waiting. Humans had learned from studying historical battles that psychological warfare was just as important as superior technology. The sight of their powerful fleet being systematically destroyed would break Valak morale, and fighting spirit Dr. Nam monitored the energy levels of Earth defensive shields and reported that the systems could maintain full power for weeks if necessary. The aliens could not break through human defenses no matter how long they continued their attacks. Captain Yoon received orders to begin Phase 3 of the human counterattack, which would involve direct assaults on the largest enemy vessels. Her stealth ships moved into position to target the alien flagship and other command vessels, the Valak fleet that had entered the solar system so confidently just hours earlier was now fighting desperately for survival against an enemy they had completely underestimated. The hunters had become the hunted. Thex realized that his military career was probably over regardless of what happened next. The Valak High Command would not forgive a commander who led 300 ships into such a devastating trap. For the first time in his life, the proud alien warrior considered the possibility of retreat. But human forces had anticipated this move and were positioning themselves to block the main exit routes from the solar system. The tables had completely turned in this battle, and the supposedly primitive humans were proving themselves to be the most dangerous enemy. The Valak Empire had ever faced. The galaxy would never be the same after this day. The surviving Valak ships tried desperately to escape from the solar system that had become their grave, but Captain Bo-Ram Yoon's stealth fleet was ready for this move. Her 25 invisible vessels blocked the main exit routes, while additional human forces emerged from hiding places throughout the asteroid belt. Commander Thex watched in growing despair as his escape routes were systematically cut off by human ships that seemed to appear from nowhere. The aliens were trapped in a perfect military formation designed by Earth strategists who had studied Valak tactics for decades. The reptilian commander activated his emergency communication system to contact Valak High Command and request immediate reinforcements. He needed at least 2 more fleets to break through the human defensive network and complete the conquest of Earth. The message that came back from Valak headquarters shocked Thex to his very core. Human military forces were simultaneously attacking Empire positions across 12 different star systems. This was not just one planet defending itself, but a coordinated campaign that threatened the entire Valak Empire. Admiral Jin Woo-song revealed the truth that the aliens had never suspected. During all their years of easy conquests, humanity had not been alone and defenseless in the galaxy, as the Valak had assumed. For over 3 centuries, humans had been secretly building alliances with other species that the Valak Empire had oppressed, conquered, or threatened. Earth served as the hidden headquarters for a massive resistance movement that spanned dozens of star systems. The supposedly primitive planet that Thex had planned to conquer easily actually controlled one of the largest and most sophisticated military networks in known space. They had been waiting patiently for the right moment to strike back against Valak tyranny. Dr. Eunji Nam activated long-range communication arrays that connected with human colonies and allied worlds throughout the galaxy. The defensive battle at Earth was just one small part of a much larger war that was now beginning across multiple fronts. Lieutenant So-Young Park received status reports from human commanders fighting Valak forces near Alpha Centauri, Sirius, and Vega. The Empire was under attack everywhere at once, and their forces were being overwhelmed by superior human technology and tactics. The aliens had built their empire by conquering isolated worlds one at a time, but now they faced a united coalition of species that had been secretly preparing for this moment. The hunters had become the hunted on a galactic scale. Captain Wu Jin-han monitored alien military communications and reported that chaos was spreading throughout Valak territory. Their commanders were confused and frightened by simultaneous attacks from enemies they thought were weak and scattered. Commander Dae-hyun Kim transmitted a message to all human forces, explaining that the first phase of Operation Liberation had begun. Earth defense was the signal for resistance cells throughout the galaxy to launch their coordinated attacks against Empire targets. The human commander had spent 15 years helping to plan this massive military campaign. Every detail had been carefully considered, from weapons development to diplomatic negotiations with potential allies. Lieutenant Min-ho Lee tracked the movements of surviving Valak ships as they made increasingly desperate attempts to break through human defensive lines. But Earth forces were too well organized and their technology too advanced for the aliens to escape. The Valak fleet that had once numbered 300 proud warships was now reduced to fewer than 60 functional vessels. The rest floated as burning debris throughout the solar system, testament to the price of ignoring humanity. Peaceful warnings. Thex sat alone on the bridge of his damaged flagship, surrounded by the wreckage of what had been the Empire's most powerful invasion force. His military career was over, his reputation destroyed, and his confidence shattered forever. The alien commander tried to understand how the humans had managed to hide their true strength so effectively for so long. They had appeared to be just another primitive species living on a single isolated world. But the truth was that humanity had been spreading across the galaxy for centuries, establishing hidden colonies and making secret alliances with other species. They had learned to stay in the shadows while building an interstellar civilization. Admiral Song authorized the final phase of Earth Defense Protocol. The time for defensive fighting was over, and now human forces would demonstrate their true offensive capabilities to any remaining. Alien ship's Captain Yoon received orders to capture the alien flagship if possible. The humans wanted to interrogate Thex and other high-ranking Valak officers to learn more about Empire military operations and future invasion plans. Dr. Nam reported that human defensive shields had successfully absorbed enormous amounts of energy from alien attacks. The power would be stored and used to strengthen Earth defenses against any future invasion attempts. The news of successful human resistance was spreading quickly through galactic communication networks. Species that had lived in terror of the Valak Empire for generations suddenly realized that the supposedly invincible aliens could be defeated. Rebellions began erupting on Valak-controlled worlds as hope replaced despair. The Empire had maintained control through fear and intimidation, but their defeat at Earth proved they were not unstoppable. After all, Lieutenant He-Jin Choi intercepted alien messages reporting that Valak forces throughout the galaxy were being attacked by well-equipped and highly trained human military units. These were not random raids, but coordinated strikes by professional soldiers. The humans had been preparing for this war much longer than anyone had imagined. They had built secret shipyards, trained massive armies, and developed weapons technology that surpassed anything in the Valak arsenal. Commander Kim opened communication channels to the surviving alien ships and offered them one final opportunity for honorable surrender. The alternative was complete destruction. As more human reinforcements arrived from other star systems, Thex looked at his tactical display showing human ships surrounding his fleet from every direction. There was no escape, no hope of victory, and no way to avoid the consequences of his earlier arrogance and overconfidence. The alien commander who had laughed at human warnings just hours earlier now faced the complete collapse of everything he had believed. About Valak's superiority, the Empire was not invincible after all. Several Valak ships began transmitting surrender signals as their crews lost faith in their commanders and no longer believed in the myth of Empire invincibility. The psychological impact of defeat was spreading panic throughout the alien fleet. Captain Han reported that human intelligence networks throughout Valak territory were providing real-time information about Empire fleet movements. This allowed human commanders to coordinate their attacks with devastating effectiveness. The species that the Valak had dismissed as primitive and weak was revealing itself to be the most sophisticated military power in the galaxy. They had been hiding their true strength while secretly building an alliance capable of challenging Empire dominance. Admiral Song received confirmation that human attacks on Valak positions throughout 12 star systems had been successful. The Empire was reeling from coordinated strikes that had crippled their ability to respond effectively to the growing rebellion. The battle for Earth was nearly over, but the war for galactic freedom was just beginning. Humanity had given the Valak Empire a peaceful warning to leave them alone. But when that warning was ignored, the consequences would reshape the entire galaxy. Thex sat alone on the bridge of his damaged flagship, surrounded by the wreckage of what had once been the Valak Empire's most powerful invasion fleet. Of the 300 ships that had confidently entered human space, fewer than 50 remained functional. The rest floated as debris in Earth's solar system, testament to the price of ignoring humanity's peaceful warning. The reptilian commander activated his ship's surrender beacon with shaking hands. His military career was over, his reputation destroyed, and his empire's claim of galactic dominance shattered forever. All because he had dismissed the humans as weak and primitive creatures, unworthy of respect or caution. Admiral Song accepted. The Valak's surrender from his command center beneath Earth's oceans. The alien prisoners would be treated with dignity according to human military law, unlike the cruel fate that awaited species conquered by the Valak Empire. This demonstration of mercy would send a clear message to other galactic civilizations about humanity's true character. Captain Yoon brought her stealth fleet back to Earth orbit, where crowds of humans celebrated their species' greatest military victory. The successful defense against the Valak invasion would be remembered for thousands of years as the moment when humanity proved its place among the galaxy's major powers. Dr. Nam began analyzing captured alien technology from the defeated fleet. Earth's scientists would learn much from studying Valak weapons and ships, knowledge that would help humanity defend other worlds against future Imperial aggression. The tables had completely turned in the galactic balance of power. Commander. Kim stood once again on his defense station bridge, looking out at the debris field that had once been humanity's greatest threat. His simple warning to the alien invaders had been ignored, and now the entire galaxy would witness the consequences of that fatal mistake. The news of the Valak fleet's defeat spread quickly through interstellar communication networks. Species that had lived in terror of the Empire for generations suddenly realized that the supposedly invincible aliens could be beaten by courage, preparation, and superior tactics. Rebellions began erupting on Valak-controlled worlds as hope replaced despair. In the years that followed, historians would mark the Battle of Earth as the beginning of the end for the Valak Empire's reign of terror across the galaxy. Humanity had given the invaders a peaceful warning to leave, but when that warning was arrogantly ignored, the consequences changed the course of galactic history forever. The species that had once seemed weak and defenseless had revealed themselves to be the galaxy's newest and most formidable military power, dedicated to protecting freedom and justice among the stars.